Hello, welcome to the Pedestal Wife Society. My name is Brill. I'm going to wait a moment for everyone to get back into the room. We had to restart because of audio issues. So I'm going to give it a moment while I set up everything to make sure I have everything in front of me that we can go ahead and start talking about the feminine mysteries that men fear you'll remember. Hey, Marcel. Hey, Lola. Hello, ladies. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate that. I'm not sure what happened. The audio was messing up and you could not hear me. So let's make sure that we're not having that issue before we get started. Can you hear me and can you see me? Just let me know down in the chat because I don't want to get started and get into the breadth of it and then find out later on that you couldn't hear me. All right. What I want to do is I want to talk about the feminine mysteries men fear you'll remember. At one point in our history as women, we had ceremonies and rites of passages that celebrated the cycles and the season of womanhood. We had ceremonies that put us in our power and put us in our bodies and had us show up in our full breadth of womanhood. But of course, that could not stand. So there had to be some changes in order to destroy that ancient information, those ancient rituals, so that we would walk around on this earth asking, pursuing, and begging men for more. But when you learn who you are as a woman, when you step into the full breadth of womanhood, the full power of womanhood, when you have an understanding of the woman within, you're unstoppable. And so I want to talk about the feminine mysteries that men fear and they don't want you to know about. They hide that information in ancient texts, in rituals to keep that power from the women who deserve to have that knowledge. So the first feminine mystery is magnetism. Magnetism is where multiplication happens. It's where women get to the understanding that everything that they are given multiplies, even if it is attention, energy, and resources. See, what happens when a woman realizes that she is the presence, that she is the power to the dynamic of man and woman, to the dynamic of the couple, she becomes a woman who is unstoppable and fierce and able. She becomes all that and more. And this men fear. They fear the magnetism that women hold. Because when women are in their ultimate glory of magnetism, they attract things. They bring things to them. They no longer be in the energy of chasing it. They no longer be in the energy of pursuing it. They no longer go be in the energy of doing for it. They know it's going to come to them. So magnetism is the first feminine mystery that a lot of women still have a lot of trouble when it comes to becoming the magnetic woman that's within. So magnetism. The feminine mystery, number 2, and I'm going to try to keep my numbers going while I'm in the flow of things, is influence. See, the thing is, masculine leaders operate through force, logic, and structure. Feminine leaders operate through presence, feelings, and suggestion. See, influence outlasts beauty, it outlasts sex, it outlasts status. When women understand the influence that they can hold, they will no longer operate from trying to perform femininity. They will operate from a perspective of inspiring in it. And instead of going after it and pursuing it, they will stand in the energy of influence. And that's the reason I talk so much about influence, because it is one of our ancient rights as women that we no longer believe in as much. We believe that we have to put so much force and push in order to get something. And we don't understand that you are the influence, you are the magic. And when you step into that wholeheartedly, you become the inspiration. No longer are you out here trying to manipulate or deceive or make things happen. You are the influence. You are the inspiration. So number 2 is influence. That is the second feminine mystery that men fear. Number 3 is devotion. When women realize that devotion is sacred, devotion is where you're in a place where you're whole, sovereign, and you choose to open yourself to love. You choose your softness. You choose your loyalty. Devotion is a gift, not bondage. Women will raise the bar. Raising the bar makes men raise to meet her. Devotion goes beyond like feelings or having a feeling for another person. Devotion is almost wanting to meet at the altar, wanting to lay at the altar, wanting to be at the feet of that person, but not in a way of wanting to take advantage of that person, not in a way of ego of, hey, you have to be at my feet or you have to lay at the altar type of energy. It's the energy of wanting to, because this person is so powerful, so magnetic, so influential, so in her being, in her essence, that they can do nothing but lay at the altar, come to the altar, be at the altar, sacrifice at the altar, devotion. So number 3 is devotion. And that is the third feminine mystery. So I'm going to pause right here and see what everybody is saying, so we can get into the next one, the next feminine mystery. Hello. Thank you, ladies, for coming back to the video. You know I had audio issues. Yes, we can see and hear you. Perfect topic for the new moon. Yes. And I picked that up from TikTok, social media. I've been up there a little bit too much lately because I've been busy, but I have those moments or pockets of time where I can kind of just peek in and see what's going on social media. Hello, ladies. Hello, Brielle. Wishing you all a wonderful day. Yes, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, devotion is my number 1 requirement in a relationship. Absolutely. And men fear that you will have an understanding of what devotion is. It's very terrifying, especially for the men who are unprepared to lay at the altar or sacrifice at the altar or be at the altar for a woman. Okay. Men fear this because you cannot manipulate a woman who's in devotion and understand the requirements and rules of access of devotion. And when she does, and see, men understand that devotion makes men above average. When they are understanding that energy and wanting to be at the altar or sacrifice at the altar, that they understand that women in devotion make men above average, which also makes them kings in life. Okay, that's a whole nother conversation, but we're going to go down that path probably in another video. I don't want to expound on that because I got a video coming for it. Okay, my next feminine mystery is pleasure. Okay. And this got me in trouble recently. I didn't say anything because I love my community and I never want any woman, I don't want to ever sit in judgment of a woman because I get where she was coming from. But us having conversations about sex, pleasure, and anything of the female body kind of turns off women who don't really want to have those particular conversations. If you're the type of woman who, when your mother or any woman in your family or even your friends bring up the conversation of sex, the conversation of pleasure, the conversation of the female body, that may turn you off. So I'm not upset at her, no judgment. I understand that some conversation that we have over here is not for everybody. And sometimes it may turn people off because I'm a little too old to hold back my tongue when there's something important to have a conversation on. And one of the feminine mysteries that women are still grappling with is pleasure, the female body. This is the reason why we have such a large number of women who have not enjoyed the sexual act or do not have an understanding of the female body, because we don't have these conversations. They're taboo. And that's what she sent me an email to tell me and to basically say, hey, This is something you shouldn't be talking about. I felt like that was a conversation not meant for social media. And I'm like, okay, I understand, because I came from a time where we didn't have these conversations. I've just grown in my womanhood, in my body, and who I am as a woman, that these conversations kind of flow off the lips. They no longer trigger me or make me feel something deep in my body because I want to talk about the female body. But see, and that is what has happened to the conversation of pleasure when it comes to women. The conversation of women's pleasure has become taboo. The conversation to women's pleasure has become attached with shame and silence and obligation. And so when we have these conversations, it may put people off. It may put women off. And this is a feminine mystery that men fear. Men fear the women who understand the female body. They understand their pleasure. They understand that they are unstoppable. It makes them glow. It makes them predict. It makes them radiate. It makes them creative in that pleasure. And so when we have these conversations, I expect some women to be turned off by them. You're not ready, and it's okay, because you know what's going to happen. You're going to get a little older. You're going to get a little older, and you're going to come back to these type of videos, and you're not going to be turned off anymore. You're going to be ready and available and open to have the real conversations, because as long as you stay in the dark about pleasure, about the thing that makes you radiate, that makes you glow, that makes you creative, that puts you in your body. And it is a fear of men to be around a woman who understands her body. It is a fear of men to be around a woman who understands that she's supposed to have pleasure from the female body. It is a fear of men for a woman to be ecstatic and happy about pleasure and the process of it and the understanding of it and wanting to be in it, because it brings us so much creativity. It radiates, it makes us magnetic when we're in our pleasure. You will do so many things when you're in your pleasure of life, when you're in your body, when you're in the pleasure of the female body. Okay, so that is number 4. That is a feminine mystery that men fear. They fear that woman. That's the reason why I truly do believe that we're moving in certain directions in a social way, because we want to we basically want to put everything back in the box. We want to make sure that women don't have that knowledge, that they don't have the understanding of the female body. They don't understand the pleasure. And if they don't have the knowledge or the understanding, then it leads to control. It leads to their pleasure being controlled, and their creativity and gifts and multiplication being controlled also. So there's a bigger plan to this. I mean, I'm not a person who's like, I'm not a politics person, but I am a person who is aware and in tune with the frequency of the earth and spirituality. And so I can see the writing on the wall. I can see why it is important that we go back to where these things are not spoken of, where we go back to where the female body is a mystery, where we go back to women don't understand the radiance and glow that they get and creativity that they get being in their pleasure. Doing things out of pleasure creates and deepens your creativity. You will create new realities. You will create new beginnings. You will create so many things in your life when you step into your pleasure. And it doesn't have to come, by the way, because, you know, I think she said that I was getting gross in these conversations. It doesn't have to come from the female body. Pleasure can come from everyday life. Just being in a life that you built, that you love. Like, I love my life. I love the life that I built. I love the life that I created. I love the reality that I am living in. I love the timeline that I am on. Okay. And so me having that and that energy, it brings so much creativity that I'm able to sit here and do a video just right off the bat and say, hey, let's talk about feminine mysteries. Let's talk about we can have deeper conversations when it comes to feminine mysteries when we start lining up the feminine mysteries that they want to hide behind what's happening currently in society to keep women from reaching their potential, keeping women from reaching their actuality, from women from reaching their spirituality. So number 4 is pleasure. All right, so I see some questions. I'm gonna stop here. How do we raise magnetism and influence? You start to fine tune your frequency, values, and identity. Okay. Once you fine tune those, you will naturally have magnetism. When I go back and I think about my life, I think about where I started from. Okay. At one point, I wouldn't have been caught dead wearing glasses. You all know why I can wear glasses now. Glasses now because I'm confident. I can wear glasses now because I can hold my head high. I can wear my glasses now because my frequency is high and vibrating. But before I had to have contacts when I was 16 years old because I was so tired of glasses. I thought that would help me with my self-confidence. I didn't realize that self-confidence is within. So I walked around with my head down, my shoulders bent, and I walked around thinking and believing that I was less than. So you're going to have to fine tune your frequency, your values, and your identity. When you hone into those, you will have natural magnetism. A woman to maintain a hint of untouchableness and distance to invoke devotion in men, she has to really be in her sovereignty for it to endure healthily. A woman has to. I can agree. I can agree. Men do like things that they cannot touch, that they are, I don't like the word scared, but cautious. They're very cautious in coming into that woman's energy or being around that woman. And yes, that does kind of invoke some devotion because she's the woman that's on that pedestal. She's the woman that's out of reach. She's the woman that he has to do more. And every time he gets a little bit closer, she does something different, or she moves away. So I can agree that that kind of inspires devotion, but inspiring devotion is one thing. Can you keep it? Can you uphold it? Can you keep and stand within that energy? Can you hold the pose? Yes, when we talk about sex, it's almost if we have relate how men relate to it. Very casual, fast, and orgasm and leave. We want a whole experience to open. Absolutely. Agreed. How do you balance the ancient spirituality of it all while being someone who believes in Jesus? Because I believe that everything that is built off of spirituality, Jesus talked about. That's how it's balanced out. If you were to really start to go through all of the ancient texts with a fine-tooth comb, you would realize that a lot of the conversations around spirituality, the only thing they did was take Jesus out of it. That's all they did. Like, they're not very creative. And you have to realize this is man. Man is not very creative. So what they did a lot of, they took things that they believed in from those ancient texts, from the Bible, from these readings, and they just took Jesus out of it. They just took God out of it. Amen. Oh my gosh, that's so true. It is. It is. Trust me, I went down that path of journey of, like, I've talked about my journey of being a church girl. I was in church 24/7 on the first pew. And I had to go through this journey of learning and deconstructing and realizing that a lot of the things that I'm seeing in spirituality, they just took God out of it. They just took Jesus out of it. They didn't want to have the monikers of Jesus or God in it, so they took it out of it. But a lot of it is the same information. All right, so I want to make sure I don't run out of time because I do have somewhere to go. And I want to make sure I give you all something to not only talk about, to digest, and to help you energetically get to another level. That's all. That's what we're about. We're about trying to transform and get to that next level and step into the being of womanhood and in your version of it. Number 5, okay? Number 5, feminine mystery is cycles, okay? Feminine is cyclical. Her moves, seasoning, bleeding, and intuition. Masculine is linear, predictable, and constant. She can't be forced into constant giving when she understands she's cyclical. One of the things that I see uprise in, and I see this also from other spaces, is this conversation of women being more predictable, being more linear. When that is not, I'm not saying you can't have that energy also. I am saying that that is taken away from the feminine when you decide, I'm just going to be this predictable person, this linear person, this constant person that's going to be consistent. There is chaos in the feminine. There is chaoticness in the feminine. And when we take that away, we take away from the feminine. And one of the things I've learned is when you start to lean into the feminine and what it truly is, the woman who leans into the feminine, she cannot be forced into constant giving. She understands to rest when rest is needed. She understands to withdraw when it's needed, or she has to withdraw. She understands to stop apologizing for her needs. Stop trying to be or step into an energy that she is not currently in. Right now, you may be in the season of the feminine and it's cyclical, and you might need more rest. Or maybe you're in the season where you need to withdraw and you need to start over. Or maybe you're in the season where you have to stop apologizing and doing things or being pressured into giving to other people's needs, and you might need to focus in on your own needs. When you start understanding the feminine, woman is cycles, is seasons, is cyclical. You were never meant to be a man, and you were never meant to create your life in the way that they've created their lives. Just because society has kind of went in a direction where they're trying to create or, cultivate that masculine energy in everybody, including women, by, having them ignore their cyclical needs, their cycle, ignore their bodies, ignore the rest that they desire. We're going to have to learn how to pull back and step into that energy. And that's the reason why I encourage women to do the work of creating your lifestyle where you're going to be in pleasure, and it's not going to go against your natural needs to rest when needed. That's the reason why I don't get, I used to have this problem all the time when I first started, where I would take rest. And I took rest because I needed the rest. I listened to the divine within me that's saying, hey, it's time to rest because you're being overworked, you're overtired. Or it's time to withdraw and just go into a segment of silence. Because even in our silence, there's creativity. And even in our silence and creativity, there's intuition. And so sometimes that would get in the way of me creating content. And I would be honest. I'd be like, hey, Pedestal Wives, I'm back. And a lot of you all have been here since the very beginning, and you've received me every single time. Sometimes I don't have a reason for withdrawing. I just understand my womanhood, and that sometimes I have to withdraw to rest, to mingle with the divine and step into my intuition and creativity. I come back 10 times stronger every time I do. And yes, that may go against the algorithm that wants to keep me constantly here to create content, so it can keep bringing people on the platform so they can keep making money. But sometimes you have to honor yourself as a woman, and you have to honor your path and your lifestyle and the things that you have going on. So number 5, feminine mystery is cycles, and that feminine is cyclical, that feminine is seasonal. And to stop being ashamed and start celebrating it, and start leaning into it, and start being. You all, I ain't gonna say I saw a movie because I barely watch movies, but I saw a clip that came across my screen, and it was so powerful. I wish I had it here. I would play it, but it was based off that new movie with John Wick. If you've never heard of it, Google it. But the woman was being trained by another woman how to fight, and the other woman that kept falling down, she kept saying, oh, he's so big, he's so fast, I can't do it. And she said basically, you can't do it. And I'm just gonna put it into words of what she said without going throughout the whole try to repeat what she said. I can't do it. I'm gonna sum it up. She said, you're trying to fight like a man. If you would stop fighting like a man and fight like a woman, you will win. And I thought that was so powerful because that's what is happening currently. A lot of women trying to fight like a man, trying to move like a man, trying to live like a man, trying to, step in the energy of success and business and love and money like a man. And then they miss out on so much pleasure and creativity and intuition and seasons because they're trying to act like a man. And I thought it was so powerful because we need more messages like that. We need more messages where they're encouraging women to step in the power of womanhood. That's more message we need. Like if I could find a clip, I will probably, I don't think I can though, because I think it has copyright issues anyway. So I probably would get dinged if I did play a little clip. But I thought it was powerful because not too many people say things like that. And I'm glad it was another woman saying it to another woman. She said, hey, stop fighting like a man. And you know what happened when she stopped fighting like a man? She started winning because she stopped trying to follow the rules. And that's what women try to do because we're being taught that we have to follow the rules, right? The feminine, she don't follow rules. I just want, she's too chaotic for that. Sometimes she recreates them, remakes them. She recreates the reality around the rules, or different perspective around the rules, because she sometimes doesn't follow the rules. And I think that is so important, an important lesson to learn in this conversation of feminine mysteries. And when she stopped following the rules, she stopped trying to fight like him. She stopped trying to meet him with strength for strength, blow for blow. And she started using the tricks of the trade. She basically hit him his gonads and put him down. And that's what she should have done a long time ago. And she would have won. Now, did she do that every single time? No. She learned other ways to use her body, not in a sexual way. She learned how to use her body and flow where she was too fast for him, that she was moving better and flow with her body. And she was operating from the perspective of being a woman. And then she started winning her fights. And that is what we need to start telling women, that we're powerful. We don't have to operate in this world like they do. Like men have their roles, they have their things set up, they have their things just for them. We do not have to copy and paste in order for us to be successful in money, love, and life. We can just be women and we can have those things multiplied. So that's number 5 is cycles. That's the feminine mystery. Number 6 is death and rebirth. Okay. The feminine holds the endings and the beginnings inside her body. She cannot be destroyed. She transforms. Men fear women who embody this because they can't break her. They fear magnetism, influence, devotion, pleasure, cycles, death, and birth. Women are freaking resilient. Women are able to push a 10-pound baby out there. Hoo-ha. They already have the beginnings and endings within their bodies. When women realize how powerful they are on their own right, that they don't have to emulate a man or embody a man, they will step into the energy of being a woman and find a power that they never knew that they had. Oh, okay. I just want to make sure because I have a meeting in the next few minutes. I was like, hopefully it started early. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's true. It's a time for everything. Yes. I love that you take breaks and follow your cycles. It really helps you experience it in real time. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So definitely, if you have anything you want to add to the conversation or a question you have about the conversation, there's so many different things that I can add to this, but I kind of wanted something that I could talk about and get right to the point where it's not going to take hours, because I don't have hours today. But men fear women who understand these mysteries, that understand the power that they hold. Because once women start to remember, it's not going to be over for man. It's going to be the beginning for man. It's going to be the beginning of men having to level up for women. It's going to be the beginning of men having to approach us with different standards and requirements and rules of access. When women start to take on the old rites of passage in womanhood and value it and pass that information down from woman to woman, then you will see a change among women. A woman who understands these feminine mysteries, she cannot be controlled. She cannot be demanded from. She becomes unstoppable. She becomes more radiant. She becomes more creative. She becomes a reality breaker. And that is what men fear. Men fear that women will step in their true power and their true knowing, and they will lose control of women. They will no longer be able to demand what they demand from women, because women will be the ones inspiring, not demanding. Because women always do it differently. And if I must say myself, we do it better. Okay, I'm just looking to see what everybody's saying. That's why both men and some women attack women so viciously. They always want to talk about a woman's appearance or her sexual experiences to dim her light. It's sad. Yeah, I mean, I think it's always sad to me when I see that other women are joining men to fight against other women. To me, that's weird energy, weird behavior. I do not like it, but we cannot stop it, because there's always going to be the women who haven't stepped into their true essence of power themselves. And instead of them, admiring the women that have, they try to pull those women down to their level. And it's unfortunate, but it's a truth that we must face as women, that there are other women they're not going to like the fact that you understand these feminine mysteries. They're not going to like that you understand your power as a woman. They're not going to like that you align in your true essence and you have the knowledge of it and you're moving as such. It's one thing to have knowledge, but it's another thing to have application. So when you start having knowledge and application, you start moving in life differently. Yes, you're going to find that you're going to have women who can be your greatest adversary. But then you're also going to find, let me tell you the beautiful truth about this. And this is something I've learned. Yes, you're going to have some women who's going to be your greatest adversary, but you're also going to have some women that's going to be inspired by you. You're also have women who are going to want to learn from you and who want to be guided from you. And you're going to also come across women that are going to be activated because you're activated in your power. A reality breaker. I like that indeed. Yes, women are indeed a reality breaker. That's the reason why women can give rules different perspective and meanings. That's the reason why a lot of times, what are men trying to get us to do? Men are constantly trying to get us to follow rules, because they know if they get us to be consistent and constant in rules, we'll be bogged down by rules and trying to follow that we ignore our own intuition and creativity and our own intelligence. If they pull us from the pedestal, they pull us from our knowing, our essence. They have more control of us when they do that. So women are definitely a reality breaker. Like we women don't win. How do you fight against that without being masculine? You don't. That is my biggest secret. I don't constantly try to engage or fight against something or try to get someone to understand my perspective. People will understand your perspective in due time, or they never will. I found that when you fight against something and that fight is a useless fight, you're only wasting your energy. So you don't fight. You don't go operating in life. One of the things that my grandmother taught me, and I think this has been a game changer, it has helped me to always conserve my energy and always become more powerful. She told me, instead of trying to waste your time to get people on your side or persuade people or have people see your side of things, just keep walking through life. Because a light that shines bright, people will always want to follow it. A light that shines bright, people will always be drawn to it. So that is what we do. We don't try to fight it. We don't try to persuade. We don't try to demand. We don't try to get people on our sides. We don't do any of those things. Only thing we keep doing, we put our heads down and focus on ourselves. We focus on our own energy, our own growth, and our own evolution of womanhood. And you will find that your light will grow so big that other people want to follow it. Other people want to be guided by it. Other people be activated by it. And so that's one of the things that she taught me as a little girl. And that's why I don't got no fight in me. Hey, made it back. Welcome back, Janice. I'm from a place where people put their hands on people. So that's why I asked. Well, then you know what? It's time to be the person that will call the police. You're too beautiful for that. You're too beautiful to be constantly to have to fight every single day. And also not just call the police. It's time to actually start making a plan where you can move out of that type of situation where you don't have to deal with those type of people where they're going to be willing to fight or risk. They don't have anything to risk if they're willing to fight, if they're willing to hurt or harm someone else. So one, make a plan to get out of there. Two, put your head down and focus on your own goals and your own evolution of your womanhood. Three, if someone puts their hands on you, baby, call the cops. I'm not sure why people won't call the cops because I'll call them quick. I call the cops quick. I have too much to lose, too much to risk to be getting involved in some type of altercation. I have too much that I know that I can be sued. And I don't want to risk that. Period. True. Absolutely. And if you can avoid those type of people, avoid them. If you have people that encourage those type of behaviors, it's time to find some new friends. Because I don't have not one friend that is willing to get down and dirty. All we will do is pick up our phones and call 911. We will call the cops on you. And you will spend your time in jail. And our lawyers will show up in court to make sure you serve that time. It's better now. I'm in a better neighborhood. It's just a reflex to want to defend myself. Thanks for the tips. You're welcome. Just checking to make sure, see what time it is, because I cannot see the time from my phone. There's too much light glaring on it. And I know I have to leave at a certain time. But this is something I really want to have a conversation about. I wanted women to know that there are feminine mysteries that men fear that you'll remember. And once you remember, you become something that they cannot control. You become unstoppable. You become more creative. You become more intuitive. You become more powerful. You step truly in your essence of feminine. And that is scary because when you do, you change the world. Well, you're a little piece of it. Okay. You change your little piece of the world. I believe in pressing charges, so I feel you. It's a lot of unlearning. Yes, I'm about to get on a train. Are you going to leave this up? I am. I feel like we're shifting to the dark feminine energy, and I love it. You know what? I'm going to tell you all my thoughts on that. I think, and here's another feminine mystery that I don't even have written down anywhere. They call it dark feminine energy so that some people will stay away from it. It's just feminine energy. The light and dark were separated so that you will have or believe there's certain things that you can do or that you can't do. It's all feminine energy. That is the gag. That is what's truly happening. Like they did this to women so that you'll be like, oh, I can only be light. This means I can be happy. I can only be joyful. They don't talk about the dark where the dark is more concentrated, more, influential, more manipulative. Like they don't talk about these things because of the fact they want you to keep you in a box. If you're constantly separating these energies and making yourself feel like one is good and one is bad, then guess what you're going to do? You're going to try to learn all about the light feminine. You're going to try to learn how to lean more into light feminine, understanding that the world that we currently live in is light and dark. And you're not one or the other. You're both. And when you truly learn into that feminine essence, you realize that I'm both, and I have to embrace all of me to stay in my true essence and power. So I can't operate from this perspective of one is good and one is bad, one is light and one is dark. And that is another feminine mystery 7 that we probably haven't talked about. But this is what I'm getting from all of my connections and intuition and, mingling with the divine, is that this is the reason why we are not able to embrace ourselves wholeheartedly, because of the fact that we feel that either we're going to be good or bad people. And this is a way to separate us. Embracing ourselves fully. Absolutely. I love these topics. Keep them coming. I'm glad you all are liking them, because I have more. My partner is saying I betrayed him because he found DMs from 2023 and current DMs I haven't responded to from this year. In this case, what should I do? I like what you said about your truth and light. Okay, my partner is saying I betrayed him because he found DMs from 2023 and current DMs. Okay, so why is he in your DMs? Honestly, he's already showing that he has some trust issues already, because why is a man going in your personal items, even your personal items, your personal things is your DMs? Like, you all know, I've been married for 25 years and my husband never ever goes in my purse or in my phone. He hands it to me and said, you look it up, or he hands me my purse and said, you get it out, because he trusts me. But regardless of it, if it's honest and there's nothing wrong with the DMs, I'm not sure what makes him think that you betrayed him. Is a DM to a man? Is it to an ex-boyfriend? I mean, what makes him think by reading a DM that he was betrayed? I have to know more information in order to even answer that question. I love dark feminine energy. Yes, it's all one. Yes. Do you think the light and the dark has a different frequency? Do I think the light and the dark have a different frequency? That is a good question, because honestly, the frequency of light and dark, I don't feel like they have a different frequency, because when you're stepping into the frequency of the feminine, it is the frequency of you. So I do not feel like it has a different frequency. I've never said, oh, let me tune in or fine tune into the light or the dark feminine energy, because they're all one. If it's all one, there is no difference in the frequencies. Okay. Is it me or the sound is compromised? Is the sound, is there something wrong with the sound? I hope not, because I got a few more minutes and I want to stay up here a few more minutes. If the sound is compromised, that means I would get off and I'm not coming back. Not this time, because I have to go. I have a meeting in about 2 or 3 minutes. So make sure you all can hear me. Can you hear me? Going through your things is a huge red flag. Yes, it is. He doesn't trust you. Like, I can tell you that off gate without knowing any information. He doesn't trust you. It sounds fine to me. Great. It sounds fine to me. I can hear you. Yes. Then it's me. Okay. Well, the videos will be up and you can go back and watch it. Okay, so I have like less than a minute. So if you have a question, go ahead and drop them down quickly. Because I hate being late. I'm one of those people, I love to be on time. It's from someone I went out with one time and I haven't responded after that. And maybe that needs to be, that one time needs to be the last time. Okay, because he's already showing he has trust issues. And he may not even, like I said, I don't know the DM. You haven't dropped what the DM was about or what was in the DM. So I have no idea if he's just overreacting. But regardless if he's overreacting or not, I can tell you he doesn't trust you. Because if he trusted you, he wouldn't go through your personal things or items. My husband never goes through my items. And we've been together for a very long time. I think it's natural not to trust people who show themselves untrustworthy. Yeah, if someone shows themselves to be untrustworthy, you're gonna naturally not trust them. But the DM, we don't know what's in the DM. So we can't say that that applies to her situation. How can I build my self-esteem? Okay. Self-esteem is for self. This means all of the work is done internally. That's you. One of the things you can do right now is your inner critic that you probably have in your head. Because I know when I had bad self-esteem, I had an inner critic that was on 24/7 telling me how bad I was. Or if something happened to me, that inner critic would tell me, oh, it happened to you because it's you. It happened to you because you're not smart enough. You're not bright enough. You're not pretty enough. So it's time to turn off the inner critic. It's time to pattern interrupt the inner critic and to start filling yourself with positivity and positive language. Start there. Start becoming an observer of yourself and seeing where your self-esteem is dropping, and start to course correct, pivot, or do things differently. That's the only way you're going to improve your self-esteem. But self-esteem is the esteem of self. Thank you for having this live. Thank you all for being here for support. Now, I didn't even know if anybody was going to be here because I was like, this is not my normal time. And I didn't let you all know I was coming. But I was like, I need to come because my baby girl is going to South Korea. And I'm going to be so busy with her over the weekend. And she flies out Tuesday. So I knew I won't be back probably like Wednesday or Thursday. I have more content. I might even pick up where I'm leaving off today with Feminine Mysteries because I have some more. I just cut it down because of the time issue. Thanks a bunch for sharing your wisdom. I need to tame my inner critic. Yes, absolutely. Get a hold of the inner critic and you will improve your self-esteem. And I'm going to go ahead and close out this live stream. I appreciate you ladies for being here. Take time, like the video. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Join the Pedestal Wife community, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.